Good evening, friends. This session is dedicated to class 12. As the pre-board exam is knocking at the door of the examiners, we are just comforting them by revising questions after questions. These two questions are all India questions, and that is from the chapter Indigo. The first question, that is a 5 marks question. The first question has been asked in All India 2012. Yeah, the question is, the Champaran episode was a turning point in Gandhiji's life. Just explain. The Champaran episode was a turning point in Gandhiji's life. Explain and elucidate. The success of the Champaran episode made Gandhiji decide to speed up his movement against the Britishers. Gandhiji concluded that the root cause of all the problem in Champaran was the fear to go to the law to fight against the injustice being done to the farmer. So the main cause was the fear, and the main problem was the fear of the peasants to go to the court and to go to the law. Actually, they didn't want to face the court, and they were always afraid of the Britishers. So talking about anything or talking and resolving the problem was just useless without getting rid of the fear that they were cropped with. It brought, him face to face with the reality, and he became aware of the miserable condition of the poor peasants in Champaran. He also realized the exploitation of the farmers. That was the policy of the Britishers. The exploitation of the Indian farmers in Champaran was just the core of the basis of the governance of the Britishers. They had intended to exploit the Indian farmers, and that was hidden in their policy. The spontaneous demonstrations by the peasants was the beginning of the liberation from the fear of the British rule. The civil disobedience had just started, and it has made a trump all over the country. The modern India witnessed the civil disobedience as a burning spark of the freedom. Gandhiji declared the first time that now the country can go against the Britishers in full swing, and therefore the Champaran movement, the success of Champaran movement became a turning point in the life of Gandhiji, and he took it for further, integrating the poor farmers and improving their condition. Second question: how did Gandhiji use Tyagraha and non-violence at Champaran to achieve his goal? Gandhiji wished to obtain more information about the condition of the Champaran peasants, and therefore he was not contented or satisfied with the information that he had gathered from Mr. Shukla, actually Rajkumar Shukla. He didn't get himself satisfied with the information that he has got from Shukla. Therefore, he decided to visit Muzaffarpur. When he visited Muzaffarpur, he gathered more information about the condition of the farmers and the non-cooperation from the lawyer. He also came to know that the lawyers who were fighting the case of the farmers didn't really abide by the plea of the farmers. The fact was that the Gandhiji did not leave Champaran even after he was issued an order by the British authority. He didn't leave Champaran. The next morning there was a spontaneous demonstration by the peasants. Gandhiji helped the officials in regulating the crowd, and the prominent lawyers declared their support to the farmers, and with which it resulted in a dropping out of the case against Gandhiji. On the basis of the evidence collected in that case, the Britishers eventually declared that 25% of the compensation money will be paid by the landlord Yes, the landlords agreed to pay or refund 25% of the compensation money, and thus Gandhiji's peaceful and non-violent civil disobedience movement became a turning point, and it brought about the desired result. Actually, Gandhiji wanted that this, movement should be peaceful and it will be non-violent. So his non-violent and peaceful movement in Champaran really became successful, and therefore he was satisfied with the efforts made by him in Champaran. Eventually, it led to the success of his freedom for struggle of the of the Indian farmers. The last question: exploitation is a universal phenomena. The poor indigo farmers were exploited by the Britishers, the British sharecroppers. How it is true? Yeah, exploitation is a phenomena. We can examine exploitation as a phenomena that is being practiced by the Britishers. The Britishers, practice this phenomena of exploitation. Gandhiji taught us in a very wonderful way to counter this problem of exploitation. The exploitations are just fear stricken. The real relief comes from then when we fight against this exploitation. The next path is non-violence and civil disobedience, not borrowing to the demands of the operation can do wonders for the exploitation. Finally, Gandhiji's lessons of self-reliance is the most important one that helped us curb the menace of exploitation. Until one is self reliant, one cannot really fight against any kind of injustice. Therefore, self reliance became a true virtue to fight against the Britishers. It helped India to break the shackles of slavery against the Britishers. The Champaran episode also proved to be a turning point in the struggle for freedom. It led to the further, demonstrations and further movement. Gandhiji really realized that in the similar manner, the sharecroppers episode in Champaran was connected to the above two themes. Gandhiji went to Champaran to fight for the cause of the peasants who were deceived by the or cheated by the British landlord. Thus, the Louis Fishers has rightly said that self-reliance was the key of the India's freedom for freedom. Self-reliance was the key of India's struggle for freedom, and that is what I wanted to emphasize upon. Thank you.